Minutes are done. Board of Assessors done in Christensen tax classification hearings.
So I can stand up?
Sit down, stand up.
Okay. So hi, I'm Donna Christensen, nice to meet everybody. I'm here for the Board of Assessors. And they would like to recommend that they, stay with the single tax rate. Going forward, okay?
No,
I have a couple comments on it.
well, nobody asked any questions.
I'm not questioning. The first thing, we've been against this split tax rate since for like ever. There's a couple things that are bad about it. The first bad thing is, if you do a split tax rate, guys like Eddie Moran, Mr. Tire, Jamie, all them people that are known businesses are gonna have to pay the extra money. What about the 30 or 40 businesses in town that nobody knows about? They're gonna get away with it. That's not fair. That's the main reason that the Board of Assessors strongly recommend against it.
Can I say one thing on that?
Yep,
Because I've talked with our tax lawyers in Boston, and they say that any business that is under $1 million in revenue does not have, they can be exempted.
they can be, but will they be?
Well, we can't. That means everybody.
Who's in charge of that?
I don't know, but I know the finance committee has been doing deep research about this. And that they know more than anyone else wants to punish the known businesses like Mr. Tire and Hilltown Hybrids and Ed's Auto and things like that. But what they do want to be able to tax at a higher rate are the truly commercial properties like Swift River and Eversource and the solar properties, things like that. And the town does desperately need more revenue.
I couldn't agree more, but it's not fair because a business is big and makes a whole lot of money. It's not fair to pick on them.
But I don't think any of the ones you listed, I don't know, I've never looked at their financials, but I don't think they're that large.
But no, they're probably not. But the point I'm making is it's not fair to pick on somebody. Oh, this guy's got a whole lot of money. We're gonna charge him extra. This guy doesn't have a lot of money. We're gonna let him get away with it. Everybody, ever since I've been in town politics, it's been for decades.
Yeah.
I've said one thing. Every single person has to be treated the same. It goes for businesses, for people, whatever. When you start picking on this guy, say he's gonna pay extra, this guy, we're gonna let him get away with it. That's not fair.
Get away with it if you're.
You are letting them get away with it. You're saying, oh, we're gonna tax you, but we're not gonna tax him. That's not fair. And I don't think that's the kind of town we should be.
I agree with that statement. We shouldn't be arbitrarily taxing one person and not another. But we do have the right to make the rules and to say that these are the rules but that's not our intent. Our intent is not to be unfair to some and fair to others.
It doesn't matter what your intent is, it's what the outcome is. And we all know what the outcome's gonna be. It's not gonna be fair. That's all I gotta say.
Any other questions? Thank you. Pub 116, vote renewal of 2026 common dollar license
Victualler.
and liquor license. Pending inspection certificate.
Oh, do I have to do we have to vote? So move. I move that we approve the vote on the 2026 common victualler and 2026 liquor licenses for Pub 116, contingent upon a successful request to certificate.
Question first.
Oh, okay. I just was making a motion.
Right, 1 second, without knowing when that question. It's done
Yeah.
now. And I could a little formally with the
Second it, and then you get first.
I have a question.
You give them the liquor license, but you never ask the Board of Health if they pass their food inspector. Shouldn't that be kind of in with it if they don't? They did pass it, no, but this is
Right.
for any businesses around here. If they needed a special permit or something like that.
Well, I think you're right, but this doesn't specify that it's only the liquor license, it's for both the victualler, which is food license, right, the victualler
Yeah.
one? It's for the victualler license and the liquor license.
Yeah.
And it says pending inspection certificate, maybe we should put an S on the end there, inspection certificate.
Yeah, but did anybody ever, or did he show you the inspection paperwork?
No, and I've always checked with the fire department and the building inspector. But you're right, I
Yeah.
don't typically reach out to the effort.
Add it to the list. I mean, they don't ever come to us per se, they come to Shannon and,
Yeah, she goes through.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just wondered.
I'll let the next person know that they should reach out.
Yeah, I just wondered,
Yeah.
just in case something does come up and.
Shannon, just for my own knowledge, how does that, cause it seems like that's the only business that comes through you.
Yeah.
Is there
Well,
Process or
it's
policy
not,
that should-
it's just the only one that I think requires that section.
okay,
Yeah, yeah. I think historically, yeah, well, I could speak to this, there were others that did, but for this,
I mean, I love it because
yeah,
organize it and remind me to do the things that I need.
yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure because
That's,
we do have other businesses in town.
the Swift River doesn't have to renew any of their licenses at all?
I think that's, well, that's through Plainfield. Or is that?
No, the buildings are Plainfield.
Yeah. it's a
No
good
one's
point.
ever told me.
Yeah. So I just didn't know if they, I never heard of it.
Yeah.
You do Board of Health inspections.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
and we do ours, but.
yeah.
No,
I didn't
sorry,
know if
me-
they needed special
I'm
permits,
curious.
Yeah, it's something to.
The liquor license has always been big. At private, Peppermint Park had a liquor license for
Yeah,
years, we
yeah.
had that, but we no longer have to. So,
Like in the future.
Did they vote on
55 Bow
split
Street,
tax rate, or we just got it,
Liquor
or?
license. Ram. 2026. This is, it says class 3 on. No, well,
Oh, it's two licenses.
no,
The other-
the other one's class 2's underneath.
Yeah, yeah, there's a class 2 and a class 3.
Oh.
Beyond what's common fair.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay, great.
I move that we vote on, the renewal of the. Business license, I don't know what it's called.
Class 3 on.
Class 2 and class 3, in dog park and used cars on, at 55 Bow Street.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then AP Automotive, 47 Jones Ave, class 2 used car license.
I move that we, vote on, AP Automotive Class 2 used car license on, what is it, 47 Jones Ave.
Then,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions? Tom, you're just in time. Tom
Oh.
Carter, Ashfield Select Board discussion about police and fire district.
well, you're not gonna even let me stay out late tonight.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
We won't tell anyone who's up early.
I can stop at the lake house, is that what you're telling me? I'm Tom Carter.
Judy Cole, nice to meet you. I think we've been in a select board meeting before, but I don't know that we shook hands and looked each other in the eye.
Yeah, I know you. I
I got some propaganda
Okay,
as I've gone to the towns that are in, this there, mine. That are part of Highland, start the discussion to, we figured we had such a good relationship, all the towns working with the Angela. That if there were opportunities to regionalize or cooperate, on police and fire, that might help us all out, just like it has with the ambulance. I came up with this sheet. Here's a two-sided, I wrote down, we've been thinking about it in Asheville for a number of years. That if it cooperating would be, of a good advantage. So on one side, I got the reason, to discuss expanding the emergency services, right? To try to enhance the service and the coverage. I guess the question I've been asking most towns that I visited is, what happens when there's a fire call at 10:30 on a Tuesday morning? I mean, we got great volunteers, right? The great volunteers. Plainfield certainly might be a shining star as having so many. But my question is, where are they in the middle of the day? Like, how many miles away are they working when there's a fire call? Reduce departmental administrative costs, if you had a centralized, one chief, one police chief, one fire chief. They wouldn't be, the administration would be more centralized, so, I guess my example is that I feel that all the chiefs are applying for the same grants several different times, and then we're always kind of disappointed in what we got. If we put something together that was bigger, I think we'd be in line to get more dollars. We could get awarded higher grants. And more effectively manage capital resources. Right, when this equipment that we're buying and so forth, is getting to be so expensive. I think, didn't you folks just get a new fire truck, and we just got a new fire truck? Right, those costs are gonna continue to go up. It gets really hard to manage that. I'm not telling you that we do it right in Asheville, but when we need a new fire truck, the first thing that happens, unfortunately, is we ignore it. Right, for 7, 8, 10 years, whatever it takes, and then all of a sudden we decide we really gotta get behind it and get it done. Just because there are so many other things.
Can I make a comment?
That are pulling on our, ability to budget those kinds of dollars. No, sir.
Rob?
Hi, Rob Shear, Fire Chief.
Hey,
Hi,
Rob.
first time we've met, which is a little surprising to me that you're coming to the town before even bringing this to the fire department or the people that this is going to affect. So I'd say, in full transparency, you bring a proposal forward, and the first people you exclude are the ones that are gonna make it successful, right? So disenfranchising those that are gonna make this work, I think was your first mistake. Second, let me finish. Second, give us a little detail about Ashfield and the situation Ashfield Fire is in with their equipment, their fire station. Let us know where you guys are at, because to me, it feels like Ashfield's in a rough spot, right? Ashfield's in a rough spot. You need equipment, you need a station. You just admitted that you neglected your town's needs for many years. And now you're looking to a town who has supported their fire department, invested very wisely to help bail you out. Tell me that that's not the reality of this project. And Highland Ambulance, highly successful. Why is Highland Ambulance so successful?
Cooperation.
Yeah. And volunteers who show up on scene to take care of the patient while they're waiting 20 minutes, 25 minutes for the ambulance to arrive? How many volunteers does Highland still have? I'll give you 2 guesses, you only need 1. 0. Highland Ambulance lost every single volunteer as a product of the service. How is Highland Ambulance going to be successful if we lose all the volunteers who make them successful? Yeah,
Are you done now?
I am done.
Do you want me to reply to that? Or do you want to continue with the discussion? Because this idea is, this isn't a rock solid proposal by any stretch of the imagination. It's just trying to get the different towns together to see if there's a way to expand what we're doing with the success now. Right, with the ambulance. And it may not be the whole smash.
Right.
It's just that to start the discussion to figure out how we can do things a little more cooperatively that, and I have no doubt that if we move forward on pretty much any of it, that in total it won't be more expensive. But I think when you really look at the numbers and how you put the budgets together, it'll be more affordable. It'll cost more money, but it'll be more affordable because you'll take the dollars and spread it over a larger valuation. If you can do it anywhere near as simply as that, which it, even though it should. But, it's a method of more effectively sharing costs and the ability to attract more grants and state aid. This isn't an attempt to take over anything or destroy anything. They're actually working, you know, in some communities, it's working exceedingly well. Right? And in Asheville, I don't think we are in any tragic situation. The last thing that I would want to do, or we've discussed it, is that we see all these other towns starting to cooperate and work together and really make district. Right? We got Buckland and Shelburne, we've got Bernston and Wyden, Shutesbury and Leverett. I think right now Blandford and Montgomery are sharing fire services. I'm sure there's several more that I haven't read about, but they're doing that for a reason.
How is this different from the mutual aid agreements that we have?
I think the mutual aid agreements are great, right? They've worked for decades upon decades. But they're not helping each town address the affordability issue of being able to share the costs and maybe even more effectively work together. It's possible. And don't be thinking just about fire, I mean police, and it could be a fraction of any one of them. If there's where to share some costs and maybe improve service. One thing that I know in Asheville is that we pay for a police department, we have service, but we don't have service. Especially with police reform, I don't think we're supplying service to what the customers would want. You know, what our constituents are paying for.
What do you,
We have.
what do you think they're paying for?
Well, I think they're looking for service, maybe 16 hours a day on the weekend sort of thing, and. You know, there's days during the week where it may not be so much, but we just can't seem to find that extra person, that extra patrolman, that extra. Because we can't have those part-time. We can't find those part-time police officers that we always
Well-
used to depend on.
You could find them, but you'd have to pay them I understand what the whole, what do they call it? I can't remember the acronym. Post, yes, thank you. Post changed the lay of the land there, and it changed the cost, and it changed training and the expense and all that stuff. I get that.
And didn't take into consideration the rural community.
Right. But, I guess I'm not seeing where it necessarily reduces the administrative cost.
Well, it could, I think, but like I said, I just want us to be thinking about it and be discussing places where we can work together. This is no rock hard proposal. This is just saying, is there a way to get together to discuss this with the opportunity of trying to manage our costs? I don't know how Plainfield puts their budget together easily. But I know it's,
No,
Right,
it's a
it's a struggle.
committee too, I can tell you a little bit about that.
it's a struggle.
I heard about this last night and I had some time today to put a few thoughts together. That address some of what is being presented to you. There was that study done, I've given you the recommendation earlier. In that, due to the geographical area we covered, each town is still gonna have to maintain a station and apparatus. Minimum, in my opinion, would be an engine, a tanker, and a brush truck. In there was increased inter-town training and cooperation, which when this study came out, we just held a training here in Plainfield, and Cummington and Ashfield came to it. Cummington has one coming up and they've invited other departments to go. So not only are we saving on the cost of the training and bringing other people in, but we're getting FaceTime with other departments and getting to know them and working with them. The mutual aid is a way of regionalization, because when you are short, you can reach out to other towns to fill that gap of lack of resources, whether it's apparatus or personnel. We have automatic mutual aid already set up for a box alarm, as a way of regionalizing with a structure fire. To Cummington, the big fire in Cummington, we were automatically called. Ashfield is automatically called, I believe, to cover our station initially, and I believe they were diverted directly to the scene because it was so big, and they bring in other resources. So all that happens on the onset of the call with dispatch has run cards. And if we're short, all we have to do is tell them to give us a second alarm on engines, tankers, ambulances. We don't even have to think about it. We've already pre-planned for it. And they just go down until they get what we need. We already share specialized equipment. Cummington has their ladder bucket truck that if you need it, you can call. We house the air trailer. I'm not sure what the other towns have, but we both have ATVs with tracks for, rescues, searches out, and, so those specialty pieces are still housed where there's room for them, and the towns have them. So you're still not gonna cut costs on apparatus. The specialized equipment isn't that redundant. As far as grants, there are towns that are doing regional grants, multiple towns applying for communication equipment, Scott packs, actually, turnout gear. So the departments are already doing some of this as a regional base as needed.
And it's coordinated through places like PVPC and BBC.
I think in the regionalization discussion, a lot of it gets driven by trying to save money. And I don't think that will happen, because pretty much the resources we have, we still need. What it addresses is the shortage of staffing. And in that study, there is a suggestion on how to move forward and address that and take steps towards it. If you read the whole study, but in that, you are actually adding additional costs because you're bringing on paid personnel to cover the shifts. I think it starts off with 2 or 4, 8 hours during the day, kind of the way the ambulance. So it's not a cost savings measure to regionalize as much as it is a coverage recommendation, and in the long term, it's gonna cost more. You're going to add a layer and take the decision-making of, take the local control away from the town and the tax base for allocation and procurement of resources to another level that I think we here in Plainfield do a good job of trying to keep the finance committee informed on our capital assets. Our timeline of when we're thinking about replacing them. So we're not taking it out of the blue. We do a lot of in-house work and repair and fundraising to get some of those smaller but not so small purchases to keep them off the tax burden of the town. You know, we've been working on communication with.
And I'll add that the finance committee has been working on creating a capital stabilization fund for the town that would be funded annually. We haven't really discussed what source. You could take a look at what Goshen has done, which has been very effective, where they were simply moving their free cash into their capital stabilization fund for years, and they were able to buy a new fire truck for cash. They didn't have to take out a loan. We're looking at that model, and we do have a number of different stabilization funds. We started one for the police department, for the police cruiser. And we're working, I think what would, well, now we're getting into the speculative realm, but we're on top of trying to anticipate better, not sort of ignore the fact that these large expenses are coming forward and do more long-term planning.
And lastly, with Highland being as successful as it is, that, if I remember correctly, Eddie, was more driven by the fire departments and the lack of EMTs and the schedule to be like, and reaching out to the other departments to come up with a plan. So I think that was a from the department looking at it and pushing it forward, coming up with a plan and pushing that up to the towns and the select boards with a problem and a solution at the same time. And it was successful because you had the backing of all the departments that were involved in pushing it up. So until you get the buy-in from each department, it's going to be real hard to move this forward. Or the departments that agree to it, some may.
Do our EMTs have to, participate in the Highland ambulance operation? I thought when you talked to us about it once before, Rob,
So
the whole staff of Highland ambulance is now professional. And when you say the volunteers, it was somebody, those are the local EMTs that work through the fire department, who are still mostly volunteers,
all, yeah.
who are all volunteers. Take care of the situation, whatever it is,
Right.
until the ambulance can get there. So there is a very quick response time, but not necessarily a very quick ambulance, because it has to come from a
Right,
central.
and it's a very busy service, right? So oftentimes that ambulance is not just coming from Goshen. It may be coming on its way back from Franklin Medical or Bay State or Hampton. Right. So that's why it's so successful, is you have the volunteers out in the communities that are getting there quick, taken care of. We've got 4 EMTs in town that have that advanced knowledge and training to be able to take care of patients while we wait for the ambulance to show up. Yeah. And I'd just like to make a quick comment on collaboration. Our local towns collaborate more now than we ever have. Our chiefs meet monthly, the local chiefs all meet monthly. We talk about what grants can we go in on together, what trainings can we do together. We plan for situations together. That regionalized planning is already happening on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Eddie wanted to say something, sorry.
Yeah, Highway Am typically fire budget. It's technically a nonprofit. And they collect money on call, but we can't do it. So it's a nonprofit, association.
It's apples to oranges, yeah, yes,
So, we got money coming in. We charge the town really small amount.
You don't think towns can ever charge their fire departments to show up at a fire? I think that might be challenging.
All you got is dip, so you can't compare, and when I went in, the fire. I've been on.
I would just like to make a comment. Of all the people in this room, probably nobody wants to save money more than me. But you don't wanna go and give up. I don't quite know, say we go save a whole lot of money by regionalizing. Well, now we have a fire in Plainfield, we may have to wait for a truck to come from somewhere else. Plainfield, we almost always have 5 minute or less response time.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable. But if we regionalize, who knows where the truck's gonna come from? 10 minutes, 15 minutes is gonna make an awful big difference. And I don't care how much money you save, to me, it wouldn't be worth it.
I don't think it's gonna save money. My problem.
So if you look at the other side of the sheet, what I gave you, there's just some bold numbers there, just taken in for the consideration of 6 towns that are, with the ambulance. And if you go to the bottom of that sheet, there's an example there of police officers. Right, and I just picked out $130,000 a year, you know, for a full-time, police officer. Figuring wages and benefits and so forth, that may be right, it may not be anywhere near right. But if we added 1 officer, and of course I'm splitting this over 6 towns, so let's just go to the bottom where I said we add 2 officers amongst the 6 towns. If Ashfield did that by itself, we hired 2 officers, that'd add 65 cents to our tax rate. But if we could cooperate and do that amongst all 6 towns, it would only add 16 cents to the tax rate for all of us. And that's using the valuation. So this is where I'm getting that it may cost more money, but it would be a whole lot more
You have
affordable.
to factor in the size of population too. Doesn't that affect the tax rate?
Would you, not population, it's only the tax rate, right? It's only the valuation. If you go to the top, I kind of skipped quickly, right? The table at the top talks about the valuation of each of the 6 towns. So Plainfield, right, at 150 million. And you add that's 150 million out of the 1,616,000,000. You know, it's 9%, it's about 9% of what the total would be. So, I mean, it would be split over a larger area, more towns, but the idea is that you could make a position to attract the kind of people you need, right, that you would want, maybe to supply just a little bit higher range of service. And it would affect your tax rate minimally instead of just trying to do it yourself.
You'd have to tell me if we're gonna lower the tax rate to really sell me on it. Because one of the problems that we encounter with our school budget, we are the geographically farthest town from the school.
Yeah.
And, so our kids spend more time on buses. We have to pay more in transportation if they decide to opt to take advantage of the choice option, or if they decide to go to VotePack or something like that. And
And we work together on that, right, on the busing, when they decide to go to Northampton or to a vote school.
yeah, but,
Not that it's not more expensive, I agree wholeheartedly.
I was just gonna say, technically, the state was supposed to pay for that for town. So there are always, I mean, I think a lot of these regionalization efforts are sold to the town as a cost savings that will save them money, make their budgeting easier. And then those promises never materialized. I guess I'm pretty skeptical about the way those transfers between town works and between, does it really mean that we need one less administrative person? Probably not, because we still have to have somebody who keeps things straight for our piece of the pie. I'm not seeing I'm not seeing a savings. I probably shouldn't be making this judgment on just the few examples you've given, and I'm sorry to be making,
No,
Debbie
it's
down,
fine.
Debbie down.
Really, the only thing that I'm looking for is to have a discussion, if there are places that we can work
Mhm.
together that would be in a full beneficial way. I mean, it's not coming with any rock solid type plan that I'm trying to drive down anybody's throat. But I think we need to have the discussion, right? At least have the discussion before we all start going down another path that makes budgeting even more difficult.
Your number's down here at the bottom,
Yes.
so if I want to understand this correctly. If Ashfield got those two full-time officers, tax rate go up 65 cents,
For Ashfield.
correct?
If you did that.
If you spread it out for everybody, the tax rate would go up 16 cents
16 cents.
per each.
That's what it would take to pay for those
Okay.
gloves.
But if Ashfield hires those two police officers, Ashfield gets 100% of those two police officers for a 65-cent increase. It doesn't get 100% of those two police officers for 16 cents.
And the fact of the matter is, we don't need people, so.
I know,
We
but-
we need a way to effectively, we could hire full-time police officers and have the help that I think pretty much every other town that I've spoken to is saying we could use some more help if we could find the right person, and we could attract that kind of, that level of expertise. So, and that, it's just to make it more affordable. I'm not ever saying that it's gonna cost less money. I've never thought that. But I do think that from the taxpayers and constituents, probably are thinking, there's a higher level of service.
Well, I think there's people on both sides of that fault line.
Oh, definitely.
I'm sorry. Dave?
Just so, because I know two of the three selectmen, currently in town, might not be aware of it. We went through a regional feasibility study back in 2021. It involved, five towns, pretty much all the towns around us,
Wait, 1 second, Dave. Is that the one you're referring to?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So we have been through that, and I know Ben's aware of it because Ben and I talked when I was chief, and I think you have one of my copies.
Yes, my desk.
So you have that, but that report is already been down. We've had that, we've gone down that road. It
That's pretty
didn't
recent.
work then. And this was put on by the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. We received a grant to do it. So it was very well done.
Okay.
Just will be it for a
Is
year.
it on the website anywhere that I could find it? I mean.
No,
So I Googled it,
mm,
I found it on Worthington's website,
Okay,
but it's the same one, they were,
and then I'd have to print it out because I can't read it. I see how
Yeah.
thick that.
or you,
Or I can just remember.
Or you can-
or you can have Ben.
I'm sure Ben wouldn't mind sharing.
Ben's read it 4 times, so he's ready to share it. It's like the library.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I did have one on the Zoom. Yes, thank you. Delila Madison Elmquist on Summit Street. I think there was a comment made that some residents would want to see regionalized police force is how I thought I heard it described. And I have to say myself, that's not something that is of interest to me. I think there are a couple of good points that even the fire department has brought up that I think apply to the police as well. One being around local control. Another being in this particular conversation, what I'm understanding is this didn't bubble up necessarily from the departments themselves. And I think that's really important that these conversations be coming from the departments. And that concerns me a little bit. And I like knowing the police officers that are here in town that are part of our community and keeping us safe. And I don't know what that looks like if we're sharing police officers across 6 different towns, and what that means for, yeah, me and my family being safe. So I just wanted to present that because I know there was a comment that maybe some of us would like it, and I can tell you that it's not seeming desirable to me, and it doesn't even save funds, is what I'm understanding. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Delila, because you hit on something that's actually accurate, and I'm gonna look to Chief Litchfield to correct me if I get this wrong, but the police departments already do a lot of that kind of cross collaboration that we heard described with the fire department. And they meet regularly, maybe even more than once a month, and they talk about problems that they're having, how they solve it, that sort of thing. So I think that at a level over select boards, there may be a whole lot more collaboration going on across towns than you or I or Ben or Care are completely aware. And that, I think that your point is good, but it needs to be something that bubbles up from the departments. You feel that need, because I'm really not. But if it makes it easier to get the right people, if it makes it easier on their lives. Because these are all stressful jobs.
Well, and it's, we do rely on the volunteers. And I think we all know that there's places, even where we volunteer, where you can get burnt out, right? I mean, people's lives are, people that are, people.
I noticed that, though.
You haven't been sitting at that table long enough, but.
No, if you consider that I'm on the planning board, the finance committee and the select board simultaneously. Yeah. I figure I've got about 15 years of volunteer experience in 3 years. Or 5 or something. I don't know.
Way out, and somebody said, well, you know, the state won't want you doing it that way, and I said, what are they gonna sentence me to? Public service, right? But, no, this is not trying to jam anything, it's just trying to get to the point that maybe, you know, the collaboration is great, and I'm so glad you got it, and I'm so glad you got such active volunteers to be here and talk about it. And I don't want anybody to take this as, you know, it's trying to threaten anything
Maybe
or.
what we should start with is having a monthly meeting of the select boards together. Maybe, you know, do what the fire department and the police department and other departments are doing. So that we become more aware of where there is or is not overlap.
Especially during the most stressful time when you're trying to button that damn button again.
Yeah, really. And maybe a summer retreat.
That's a good idea too. That's a good idea too, but, no, this is, I don't want anybody to feel threatened or that, you know, the Asheville Select Board is, and I'm only coming as one representative of the Asheville Select Board, but just to start the discussion of ways that you can save money, and if we're trying to attract some people, I think this, if it could be done as simply as this, just a cross valuation. Right, I mean, even if Asheville and Plainfield pick one thing out to do together, and Asheville, let's see, if 450, you know, Asheville would pay about 75% of the load, and Plainfield would carry the other 25% of the load. Well, and that's exactly what this is saying.
Yeah,
I don't want you to think anything else.
I guess what I would do is say, starting by pairs of towns rather than 6 towns might, you know, doing it one step at a time, but the question I have,
Without having the discussion, right, of the 6 towns,
yeah,
we don't know how many towns would have the same need.
well,
Because pretty much the other, 4 towns that I've been to have all had just a little bit different needs that they thought would be addressed.
yeah, so my question is, to you, you say you just want to start the discussion. So what's the next step in the discussion?
Well, I was hoping that if towns were interested, right, that there would be 2 representatives that would want to really look at the possibilities and openly talk to the other towns of what they feel needs to be managed and what could help. I think if we had 2 people from each of the 6 towns and we had met at a central spot, I was thinking they got that great conference room right at Highland Ambulance, that would be a pretty central spot. And we.
Where's Highland Ambulance headquarters?
Ocean.
Oh, okay.
Your big,
For some reason, I
nice
had in my head they were
conference room
over
right
anywhere.
there,
I thought they were.
central location.
Okay.
It's not like you have to travel to school where you're the furthest away or anything. So I guess that's what I'm asking, is we could set up a meeting before we get, if we can,
So what-
that's right about.
My question remains, what's the next step? Do you want us to get in touch with you? Will you get back in touch with us?
I'd be more than happy to coordinate a meeting. Plainfield may have to be in part of it. The other 4 towns have already signified that they would want to send somebody to discuss
They
this.
would or would not?
Would.
Okay,
Actually, the 5 towns, because of course Ashfield.
well, I think we should at least be in on the ground floor in the conversations, and we may not choose to continue too long, but we're curious enough to see how the conversations go.
I can't coordinate it, maybe we'll have to do a Google poll or something to kind of figure out what day might be available. Right after the first of the year, we're gonna start. Right, we'll start getting busy, trying to put budgets together. School meetings, trying to figure out what the next move is on all of
I'm
that.
already busy.
Oh, I know, the calendar's still up.
At the holidays. Okay.
All right, hey, thank you. Always good to see how other towns do it, right? So. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, thank you for making the trip over.
Pretty easy, I had to pack up a set of tires.
Look out for the wire.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Mail from David Filkins requesting appointment to the Conservation Commission.
Anyone, Shannon, do you know if anyone checked with, Mr. Judy Williams, who's the chair of the Conservation Commission? Why don't you, can you call Judy and ask her tell her that David expressed that desire, and if it's agreeable to her, we can put it on the next agenda to vote him in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Questions?
Any other business?
Any other business?
What are you supposed to do? I vote that we go into, or I move that we go into executive session. This is a presentation. Felt